And ironically, one of the reasons I chose to write about sharks right now is this is the moment of scientific discovery, really the golden age when it comes to research for sharks. So this is a baby Lennon shark in Bimini, in the mangroves, where we have one of the best findings they just found out about these sharks. These are juvenile sharks because I have to confess, sharks are terrible parents. They abandon their young right away in most instances, and that's actually a good thing because otherwise, in some instances, they might be tempted to eat them. So you have juvenile sharks that hang out together in Bimini, and recently researchers figured out through tagging that they essentially have cliques that they hang out in. People often have thought of sharks as solitary creatures, and some of them are, but they actually did basically a whole social networking analysis and found that, that they have their regular buddies. So in Isla Holbox, Mexico, there's research into whale sharks, where they're figuring out, this is the biggest fish in the sea, but we know remarkably little about it. So they're learning, for example, how they feed. They're enormous. They're the size of a school bus or larger, yet they survive on the smallest fish in the sea because they're filter feeders. So, basically they've learned that a 20-foot whale shark eats a little under 9,000 calories a day, so basically about 30% more than your average American male. To places like Raja Ampat, Indonesia, where Mark Erdman, who's a scientist for Conservation International, has discovered new species of sharks, that they're these tiny walking sharks that use their pectoral fins to move along the bottom. And so what's interesting there is that they can't go that far, and as a result, you can have separate species very close to one another. And there's a field called Bio-Mimicry, some people may be familiar with, where we're figuring out new technologies based on sharks. They're incredible things about how fast they move through the water, their sensing, how they actually smell in stereo. One of the reasons they can track, for example, the scent of their prey is because they literally will smell something in one nostril and then a fraction of a second later they'll smell it in the other nostril, and so they can figure out where to go. Or, for example, the Critter Cam, which is a camera that's now mounted on both terrestrial and marine wildlife, was actually inspired by a remora that was catching a ride on a shark. And so we're learning all this because we have better technology that can get us into the deep ocean. And so we're doing satellite tagging, we're just getting a sense of this hidden world.